You send a music transcription of the Black Page to Frank Zappa. Do you still have the original transcript that you made?
Oh yeah, it's around someplace.
Yeah?
Yeah, and I have the letter that he wrote me back after I sent it to him, and he actually sent me the music. And it was phenomenal.
How important was this for you? Doing this transcript and getting a reaction from him, and then...
Well, it was surreal in a way, you know, because I adored Frank and his music, and I loved the idea of transcribing. And I was going to Berkeley, and that was a great way to develop your ears. And I was really into complex music, you know, and I was, you know, music to me on paper looked like art, you know, and I loved looking at notes. And Frank's music was very dense, so it was more beautiful to even just look at. And the Black Page was a very special piece because it had rhythmic. And, you know, I'm very happy to go on record saying this because I believe it's true as far as I know. It had rhythmic complexities that virtually dwarf anything I've ever seen in any scores by any composer, including Stravinsky, Cage, Barres, Ligeti, you know, anybody that I've ever seen. Just the rhythmic complexity. But that doesn't make a good piece of music. What makes a great piece of music is how it affects the listener, you know, and the Black Page is, besides its musical density, its rhythmic density and the melody, it's a beautiful piece of music. The melody is beautiful. And there's nothing else that sounds like it in the whole world. Yeah.
So you still have it?
Oh yeah.
And is it somewhere in, I don't know, in your closet?
Oh, it's in my house, yeah. I have all my music in one location.
Okay. Well, you've worked with Frank Zappa, you've worked with David Lee Roth, Whitesnake, Joe Jackson, so many people. Are there, maybe you can pick one or two things that you've learned by playing with someone, even a singer maybe, I don't know, that you say, well, that's also some sort of clarity moment for me. Just like seeing...
Sure, yeah. Well, with Frank, there was a lot of clarity moments. A lot of it was in the studio, understanding production, understanding how to record properly, understanding how to protect yourself in being an independent musician and facing the music industry, how to be honest and straight with people, but don't be taken advantage of, and many things, you know. With Dave Roth, it was really great educational experience because I learned how to, you know, be a rock star. But I learned how to conduct
Why are you doing this?
Well, because there's a lot of concepts of what a rock star is, and there might be some people that say, oh, he thinks he's a rock star. But the fact is I was hanging around with the biggest rock star in the world at the time, you know, and, you know, for greater or lesser, I was considered a rock star, and some people still do, but that doesn't really mean anything to me. I mean, it's fun, you know, I'll wear that badge, I don't care. But I learned how to conduct myself in the press, you know, because you learn that when you say things, they have an impact, and that how the press takes what you say and they filter it through their own mind and then edit it and put it out there, and you better be pretty unequivocal when you say things. And how, when you do say things, they affect other people, and you know, how to conduct yourself on stage in front of a large group of people, how to emote, how to take control, how to be commanding, you know, because that's what rock star stuff is, and that Dave was an expert at it, you know. And then with bands like you know, like Alcatrazz, it was a great experience, you know. I learned band camaraderie, you know, and touring and being with a band. With Frank, it was different. You were musicians and it was individual, but the guys in Alcatrazz, they were wonderful guys and we got along, and it was nice, you know, nice kind of a family unit. I enjoyed that very much. And then with Whitesnake, I learned a lot about how to be political in a sense. You know, there's some certain political dynamics, because with Dave Roth was very harsh. You know, he was very solid and strong with some of the ways that he conducted himself. And I was a very intense young man, really intense with myself and with my demands on myself. And when I brought that, and Dave was too, but when I joined Whitesnake, I tried to impose that on everybody else in a sense. And you know, it was a whole different environment. And, you know, I had the tendency to be a bit prickish, you know? And I all of a sudden had a hit solo record and everything. So there was an ego balancing that I needed to understand. Because Dave didn't allow you for your ego to, you know, explode.
Yeah.
He kept it very controlled. David Coverdale, on the other hand, you just do, you know, whoever you are, you do whatever you want. So that was a good experience, you know. I had to learn how to control tour politics and band dynamics. It's hard to explain, you know, but it was a really good learning experience. Every experience is a learning experience. It's your perspective.
Yeah.
It all comes down to your own personal perspective. What you get, your view on the music industry, your view on your own career, your view on the people you're in a band with, is molded by your own attitude when you're in those situations. And your attitude is based on your perspective. And if you can take control of the way you want to think about things, you can change your perspective, and the entire experience of everything you're doing will change. It's as simple as, if you change the way you're looking at something, whatever you're looking at will change.